Okay, hey guys. So we are on our second video of the division. We just did a couple different steps on the last video, and we went over basic steps and single-digit divisors. So if you don't know what any of that is, I suggest you go watch that video first. But if you feel like you're ready to move on, this is the video to watch. And we are going to, first, I need to tell you, if you don't already know what some of your vocab is, your divisor is what's going to go on the outside. So when I say you have a single digit divisor, I mean that it goes out on the outside, okay? Then I've got my inside number, which is going to be my dividend. Okay? And then on the very top, it's going to be what we call a quotient. Alright, so now that we kind of know where our numbers are going and what a single digit or a multi-digit divisor is, we can move on. So, one of the big questions that I feel like we need to talk about is going to be, what do we do when we have a remainder? How do we write that? So, I want you to write that question out. Okay, so this is a really good video to watch in case you don't know all your options for writing out your remainder, okay? So I'm just going to give you one example, and then we're just going to go and do multiple steps to it. So we're going to do 4 divided into 2, 2, 2. So 222. Okay, so I need to ask myself, how many times does 4 go into 2? Okay, it can't go in there, so I'm going to put my X as usual. And then I'm going to ask myself, how many times does 4 go into 22, the total number? So if you hopefully know your multiplication table, and you'll know that 5 goes in there. So it'll go 4 times 5 will give me 20. And now I'm going to subtract. Okay, so I'm doing the exact same steps I did in the last video. We divided out, and then we multiplied 4 times 5, and we know that 4 times 5 will give us 20, and we write it down, and then subtract. So 22 minus 20 will give me 2, and then I'm going to bring down my number. I'm going to put 2 here. Now I need to ask, how many times does 4 go into 22 again? We just said it went into 5 times, so we're going to write it again. 4 times 5 is going to give me 20, and I'm going to subtract. I have 2 left over. Now, because we pretty much at the end of our numbers, what are we going to do with this 2 right here? Okay, so I'm curious, what are we going to do? So you have a couple options. One, you could write it as 55 R for remainder 2, which I know I've seen some of you do. Or you could write it as 55 and take this 2, bring it to the top, and then take your 4 here and put it on the bottom, and that's going to give me 55 and 2 over 4. But as you know, you've got to simplify this. So what's going to happen whenever I simplify? Well, 2 over 4 is also known as 1/2. And so in case you don't know how I got that, I'm going to divide. So 2 can be divided by 2 to give me 1, and 4 divided by 2 will give me 2. Okay, and if you put your line there, it'll give you a half. So 55 and 1/2. Now from here, so this is one way to do it. This is the second way to do it. This would be the correct answer. because if anytime you have something that's 2 over 4 or needs to be simplified, you always need to make sure you're pushing it all the way until it's completely simplified. Now from here, I could automatically look at that and say, well, 55 and a half is also 55.5. You know, kind of like 55 and 50 cents. Okay, so it's always going to be a decimal. Now, if I wanted, maybe I didn't understand it because this was some crazy fraction, then I could go ahead and I'm just going to rewrite this real quick so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to go through my steps. 2, 5, 20, I'm going to subtract 2. Okay, so let's say it ended here and it's asking for the decimal. What do I do? Well, I can add my zero. I can add my decimal and add my decimal here. So what that's doing is telling me that this is my whole number and anything after is a decimal. So as you know, 222, it can also equal 222 decimal 00 and to infinity. So that's just letting me know it's a whole number. So because this number ends here, I need to bring up and put a decimal here as well to know that that's where it ends. Now from here I can add a 0 and bring it down. So again, this number is still staying the same because anytime I put a decimal and the zeros after, it does not change the number. So I bring my 0 down and that makes it into 20. So 4 goes into 20 how many times? 5 times. So 4 times 5 will give me 20. And now I subtract. 20 minus 20, give me 0. So this right here is this number. Okay? So hopefully you can see how you can do your remainder with either putting R2, you're putting a half, or putting it as a decimal. Any of those will work. Okay? Again, if you have questions on this or you don't understand how I got this, go and put a comment down or email me or message me. Hopefully do it in the comment box because that's where you're supposed to do it, and let me know.